Okay, round two of trying to go live because we are having some very annoying technical issues. Just like last week, I have no idea what's going on. I'm so sorry. If you already started watching me talking for 5 minutes, you're gonna have to just start. We're gonna have to start again. Okay, so really sorry about this. Let's get started again. So let's chat about feeding in slings. Right, so lots of different ways to feed in slings. So I'm going to show you some options for breastfeeding and bottle feeding. For a lot of this, if you are tube feeding, it also applies to you. Just make sure that the tube isn't twisted or anything, that you are feeding in a way that will let the food go through the tube and it's not getting tangled or creating any pain on you and your baby's nose. If you're chest feeding, that works as well. Just use whatever works for you in the situation you're in. I will go over safety for bottle feeding and breastfeeding, but that applies for all different slings. I'm not going to repeat every time. Okay, so if you don't have a sling, well, you can just use a scarf. So try to find something that is quite strong. Pashmina work quite well. Maybe don't go for something woolen because that doesn't really hold the weight very well. The idea is to give you some relief. It's not for carrying, it is just to give you some relief on your shoulders and on your back and also on your arms, so you don't have to do as much holding. So I think that will work. Not too long. I've got this scarf only, but it's extremely long, so I will just go for something a little bit shorter. I'm going to use a woven wrap to demo because that's the only scarf that I have that is suitable. It doesn't have to be a woven. If you have a woven wrap, then please do go for it. It really does work quite nicely. So I'm going to show you how to do a slip knot. It takes a little bit of skills. If you can't do it, don't worry, just do a double knot instead. But it's quite handy being able to just slip knot because then you can lower your baby up and down. Okay, so bring some fabric on your shoulder and you're going to bring the rest across your back and then over. We're going to bring this tail over this one. This is just static tail, it doesn't move. Bring your hand through. And then you're going to create like a loop, like a D-shaped loop that you just place like this. You bring your hand through under the static tail and then bring the longer tail over and tighten. And there you go. So now I can bring my knot up or down and I can move my baby around a lot more easily and I can do easier positioning. So I'm going to start with the knot high up like this. I'm going to bring my baby on my shoulder. And if you want to feed upright, you can do so. So baby with reflux, sometimes we find that feeding upright can help them. So you're going to sit your baby down and then you can loosen your knot and you can bring your baby to the breast. Okay, so a few things to observe when you bottle feeding or breastfeeding. Make sure you support the back of the neck and you're not pushing the head forward. Okay, so let the head free. So if your baby wants to unlatch or come off the bottle, they can do so. So around the neck like that, top of the shoulders, just some support, gentle support. Okay, if you're breastfeeding, bring your baby's hands to the breast so they can cup away and push if they want to. Make sure you can see your baby's nose the whole time. So feeding in slings is not really hands-free and eyes-free. You need to really keep an eye on your baby the whole time. It's very important. So make sure you can always see your baby's nose, because babies can just get stuck quite easily. So I know you're busy running around after your toddler, but just keep an eye on your baby. It's very important. And make sure the alignment is correct. So you want the head and the spine to be aligned all the time. So you don't want the head to be in a awkward position that can make them choke. Okay, so breastfeeding like this, bottle feeding you can do the same. Maybe you don't need to lower your baby down as much, but you can feed like this. You can sit your baby in a semi-cradle seated position for bottle feeding as well. So you can do that and then you can feed. And then again, I'm just going to play around with my knot. If I don't need my baby so lower down, I can just do that. If I want to breastfeed in a cradle or cross cradle, I can do that. So I'm going to bring my baby across me, nice and tight against your body, okay, so you can retighten as much as you need. And make sure the fabric will cover from knee pit all the way maximum here, roughly here, nothing lower than. Don't use the scarf to support the head, okay? Your baby's still here, you can't just ignore them, you still need to support your baby, it's very important, okay? So you can bring your baby to the breast, you can do cross cradle like this, or you can just support your baby's head with your elbow or with your arm. Again, don't push the head forward. If you want to feed rugby holds, you can do that as well. You're just going to go rip like this, and then you're going to feed. So again, you see my baby supported all the way to the knee pit, to the neck, and I'm just going to support like this. And I can just play around with my scarf, retightening. Make sure it's not too tight and your baby's just well supported. But this is giving you some nice relief on the shoulder, so you can spread out, fan out. So it's nice and comfortable. Okay, so when you're done feeding, take your baby out. Always burp your baby before you put them back in a sling or anywhere else. If you have a woven, you can do all of that with the slip knot. If it's a short wrap or even just a mid-length wrap, you can use a sling ring and do like a hip carry. So I'm going to bring my fabric across, and I'm going to bring it through. Now this one, sorry, I haven't had enough coffee today. Bring through the tail that's hanging, flip it over, and you're going to use that a bit like a ring sling really. Bring your fabric across through the ring, feed it through, and this way you can lower your baby quite easily. I'm going to grab both tails, and I'm just going to do a single knot here because I'm going to use that just for feeding. And then I'm going to bring my baby in and feed. Obviously, if I want to feed on the other breast, I will just change sides. So you can do that as a carry, but you can just do that for feeding, and then everything else applies. So you can feed the fabric through the knot and retighten and make it as tight as you need, as low as you need. It's quite flexible in that sense. You can do everything else, cross cradle, you can do rugby, hold, whatever's going to work for you. So that's quite handy. And when you're done, you just retighten everything. Make sure you do a double knot. But it's really nice and comfy. If you have a longer wrap and you are feeding from a front wrap cross carry, I'm going to show you how to do that. Basically very simple. All you need to do is just lower your baby. So these make really great bangles as well, so you can just keep them, and just they can also distract your baby sometime. Okay, so I'm going to do a front wrap cross carry very quickly. So this is not a tutorial on how to wrap, this is just to show you how to go from a front wrap cross carry to a feeding position. I'm going to loosen, I'm going to bring my baby in, I'm going to lower my baby down like this. Right, I'm going to do just a very quick like this. Okay, so now I've got my baby in the front wrap cross carry. I can just stay like this and loosen. So I'm going to undo my double knot, go back into a single knot, loosen, bring my slack forward, make sure you've unspread your passes, and then you can just basically loosen your wrap, so your pocket just lower it down, and then you just keep going until you're at breast height. So you can feed upright like that, like this. Quickest way to do it, in my opinion. What you can also do is, if you have a sling ring, you can tie your back or tie at your front, but you could use the ring instead of a knot, so it's a bit quicker. So you can bring the ring through like this, make a little hoop, grab the other tail, bring it through, like that, tighten. Okay, so now I've got my baby here, or you can have your ring or knot at the back, but I want to feed and I want to do it very quickly, so I'm just going to loosen like this, so don't have to undo any knots. I'm just loosening, feeding, done, come back, burp, pull up to retighten, and then you're just going to bring your fabric back across like this. So there you go, so it's a little bit quicker. There you go. You could also just do a slip knot at the shoulder or a double knot, so you can just loosen very quickly like this. So lots and lots of different ways to feed in woven wraps. I'm going to only demo this one because it will just take forever. But with the hip carries as well, they're super handy. You can again just use the sling ring thing, so it's just a bit quicker. Or you can just use your woven, just like I showed with the simple scarf, like this. Do a slip knot, do a double knot, just to give you support. If you're using a long woven, just make sure you don't have any tripping hazard, okay? So just wrap it around yourself, just to make sure you're not doing that. I've got a cat here that's trying to grab my very nice Tinge garden. Pippin, stop it! It's very disruptive. Okay, now ring slings, very similar to the slip knot technique I've shown you. Super handy. So I find sometimes I have clients who have ring slings just to feed because it's super quick. I've done a whole video for feeding in ring slings on my YouTube channel, so go and check it out. It's also on my Facebook page in the video section. So once your baby's in the sling, so nice and tight, and then you want to feed, all you have to do is you just lift the rings, lower your baby, bottle feeding, same techniques. You can sit your baby, feed, you can do a cross like this for breastfeeding, whatever is going to work for you. You just use the position that works. You can do a rugby hold. It's the same system as with the simple scarf and the slip knot, so same system. The thing with ring slings is that if you want to feed on the other side, so if I want to feed on this side, but I've got my rings here, I want to either take my baby out and then move my my shoulder here, or what you can do is you can loosen, take your arm out, make sure you support baby the whole time. I'm going to grab my bottom row, bring it over my shoulder like this to flip, and then I can control the tightness from my back, and I can feed like that, or I can just do a cross position, cross cradle, like cradle or cross cradle, whatever is going to work for you, so you can do it like this. Don't forget that ring slings can be also used as torso carries, so make sure it is nice and quite snug, but if you want, you can actually just sit your baby like this and use it as a torso carry. So if you are, you're going to change breast and feed on both breasts, then sometimes it's just handier to do it and just move to the other one. Even if you're bottle feeding, you can just sit your baby like this and then feed. Always gives you some relief. Just make sure you can always see your baby's nose, okay? It's very important. Okay, lots of different ways to do it. Your rings don't have to be on the shoulder with ring slings. You can just really, they're very versatile. You can use it the way that works for you. Right, next. Okay, go here. If you have a closed cabot, very handy for breastfeeding in and bottle feeding as well. So you have it on. Just going to bring my baby in. Again, I'm not demoing anything, I'm just showing you how to feed, so don't take this as a demo, please. So my baby is in the cabot, like this. It's tightened. You've got your outer pass on, and everything's ready to go. Now you need to feed. You're gonna take this off, or you can just loosen it and just keep it around your waist. Again, make sure there's no tripping hazard, very important. And you're gonna loosen the rings, support baby. As soon as you loosen something, always support baby. And then you can just feed like this. check if there are any comments. No, okay, good. So you can just feed like this, or cradle, take baby out, and you can use 2 passes or 1 pass. You can bring this one across. Again, remember, cover from the knees all the way top of the shoulder or neck, and you can retighten. Support, make sure your baby is well aligned, head and spine aligned like this. If you want extra support, you can just bring the other pass on like this. Like this, and then you can feed. You can just move things around to do rugby feed as well, rugby hold. So you can just move like this, and then if you need, you can just retighten, so you can pull different parts of it just to make sure the baby is well supported. Just watch out for that, and then you can feed like this. So lots and lots of different ways. If you're bottle feeding, you can just sit the baby and then feed like this, whatever's going to work for you. In terms of feeding in slings, I think there's no like one way is better than another. So whatever works for you, especially if you're breastfeeding, how can you manage good positioning, good latch? What is your baby like? What do they prefer? Do they like to feed upright? Do they like to feed in a cradle position? Just do whatever works for you, as long as you do it safely and observe the safety rule I've just given you. Then you're good to go, really. And then when you're good, you just put your baby back. So if you're using a stretchy, it's going to be very similar to the Kaboo because it's very similar anyway. So I'm going to very quickly put my stretchy on. So this is gorgeous Calin Bleu stretchy wrap, very nice and lightweight for the summer. Also, if you're a sweaty person, this is nice. It doesn't feel as warm. Okay, so I'm going to very quickly do a pocket wrap cross carry. You could also do a front wrap cross carry like I showed with the woven. So you can do that in the stretchy as well. Just make sure your baby is always well supported. Okay. So, my baby in. Come on, baby. Let's go ready to feed. One leg in, one leg in. Sit. Okay, and then you've got your pocket pass. Right, so depending on the stretch of your wrap, some that are very stretchy, so this is quite stretchy. Oh no, it's just stopped again. Okay, 1 second. Right, I'm going to try to go back live on Instagram. My Instagram just died. It's very annoying. Okay, Facebook's still here, so that's good now. Okay, right, let's go back live. Okay, we'll just wait a second. Okay, I'm back live on Instagram, so this is part 2 for Instagram people. So, Facebook is still here, good, alright. So, if you stretchy wrap is very stretchy, like this one is quite stretchy, or a wrap are very stretchy, you can just like try to just loosen and just bring your baby like this, easier for water feeding. But sometimes you might find you want to just take your baby out like this, and then you can just bring your baby around and then sit it sideways. So like that, I've just brought my legs in, and then I can bottle feed my baby like this. Or you can just take your baby out, and then just like with the Kaboo, you can just bring your baby and use one pass and then feed, same as what I've shown before with the Kaboo. You can use 2 passes as well if you prefer, like this. There's lots and lots of different ways to do it, and then you can feed like that. At all times, make sure you can see your baby's nose. Don't cover. Very, very important, and support your baby's neck, top of the shoulders. And you can just take your baby out, and then you can just sit them straight back in. Okay, so you can also use the front pocket for feeding, so quite handy for bottle feeding like this. Bit more tricky for breastfeeding, doesn't give you the best support depending on the wrap, but you could do that as well. Gives you a little bit of support. Just make sure the legs are free or supported. You can always do that. It's not optimum for breastfeeding, I would say. Just use the cross passes. You can also just loosen everything and then just bring your baby straight down. Okay, so now excuse me, let's look at some buckle carriers. So depending on the type of buckle carrier that you have, you'll be able to do different type of feeding. So I'm going to start with a buckle carrier that doesn't cross straps. So this is a Too Little to Grow. I've made a whole tutorial on my YouTube channel and Facebook video section, so you can just go and have a look. So I'm just going to put it on. I'm going to bring my baby in. Like this. Come on baby, let's go. Right. Okay, so my baby's in the carrier, just going to tighten, and then my baby's hungry. So easiest way to do things, you're going to loosen your waist belt a little bit, you're going to loosen your straps, bottle feeding, pretty straightforward. You can feed like this by lowering your baby. Just always make sure, try not to have your baby's head turned too much to the side, okay? If you need to do that, I would say bring the legs around, just like that. So do like a seated sideways. It might just be a bit more comfortable for them. If you are breastfeeding, you can just lower your baby until you reach breast height and then feed whichever side you want to. Okay, if you want to do a cradle feed, you can do that as well. So I'm going to unclip my straps and I'm going to bring my baby around like that, and I'm going to bring one strap in, and this one you can tuck it in, just make sure that it's not in the way, and we tighten, and that gives you some nice support. Again, remember, cover from feet all the way here, and you can feed like this. So support across the back of the neck, sorry, and just monitor your baby. What you can also do is, if you loosen your straps enough, it depends kind of your size as well, so it might not work for everybody, but you can really loosen your chest strap, clip, and then that can give you a little bit more support. So you bring your baby in, and I've got more support across my back like that. I'm going to bring my baby inside, but remember not to have anything near the neck, okay? So we're going to use this to support. Don't have anything holding the head or in the waist, so make sure it is just tucked down like that. You tuck it into the waist belt so it's not in the way, and then you can feed like this. It's quite nice and supportive. You could even go all the way like this if you want to do a rugby hold, and then use different shoulders depending on which breast you want to use. Bottle feeding, we can sit up baby like this, and then we can feed. So it's quite nice having the chest strap like that, because that gives you a bit more support. Okay, if you have a carrier that has that offers cross straps, so they're detachable straps. You can do a hip carry feeding, so I'm going to show you with the Sling. So I'm going to put it on. I'm going to bring the baby in, hand across the back, grab a strap, keep over your shoulder, switch hands, click, and we tighten, like this. Okay, so you've got it on nice and tight. Baby wants to feed. If you have a carrier that has dual adjust, which means that you can pull forward or back, what you can do is you can just loosen the front part of the straps like that, and that should lower you enough. If not, you can just lower your waist part as well, and you can go straight onto the breast, or you can just bottom feed. So that's really, really handy to have carriers like that, I find, in general. If you don't have it, you just loosen on each side. If you want to go straight to a hip carry, you can do that. So I'm going to loosen one side, opposite side of where I want to carry. Bring my baby around, support, bring my arm around, like this. And then make sure the other shoulder is not too tight. And you can do that. You can feed like that. Super handy. You can do a rugby hold as well. So you're going to come around, and then you can feed like that as well. So there's lots and lots of different ways to do it. So people watching on my profile, I know it's weird watching me doing this, but I'm doing this because I can't do it on my page, so I'm going to share it on my page. Anyhow, these are the different ways you can feed in slings. Lots and lots of different ways. Do what works for you. Just remember to always observe safety, so make sure you can see your baby's nose at all time. Your baby is nice and tight against you, but not pressed, so you don't want to tighten the thing too much. And there you go. So if you have any questions, feel free to post in the questions in the comments. I will answer them. If you have any concerns, anything, feel free to send me private messages and I'll just answer them. If you're watching this live, you can comment as well and I will answer. Thank you for watching and see you soon.